18th of April, 2186. Had another solo drop on Fact Bay against the bugs again. I am not recording this during the mission, but instead I am back on my Super Destroyer after it all. I wanted to do something on my own and try the CQC-20 breaching hammer. I recently was able to get the Siege Breakers and Freedom's Flame War Bonds. So I had the hammer and the I-09 Heatseeker helmet for a change of look. See how it was. My armor for this was still the CE-07 Demolition Specialist, but honestly I think they worked really well together. I thought it looked like a good pairing. Along with the hammer, I brought the Warp Pack and machine gun and Gatling sentries along for just covering fire for myself. I had the base Liberator that we get from our training. Simple and effective, so I figured I would bring it along for this one, along with the grenade pistol and the impact grenades to change things up just a little bit. The mission was to simply terminate an illegal broadcast in the area, but that was almost my secondary objective at this time. I was hunting for super credits and medals mostly while out on the planet. I had some luck, thankfully, but don't worry, to other Helldivers, I did complete the mission for Super Earth. I'm not a traitor or a lazy Helldiver. I'm still doing my part, damn it. Since this mission was simple, I wanted to do something a little different for this journal and discuss a topic I actually haven't ever brought forward yet, but a group of other Helldivers and myself were having a discussion about this, and something I wanted to bring forward here too is something with a group about maybe a day or two ago. At this point, we were dropping against some of the bots, and it's just something for other Helldivers in the future to hear about, and just something different for a journal topic. Why not change it up? And simple missions like this, you can kind of go off the riff a little bit more. So with these other Helldivers, we were actually discussing the different environmental conditions that you run into on, the many planets that we're trying to liberate and take back for Lady Liberty and Super Earth and manage democracy from our enemies. That's, for those that might not be aware, and God Liberty bless it at this point, everyone should be, is the different things from blizzards to the intense heat that we deal with to the ion storms, sandstorms, and everything. And they were having, we were all discussing, what everybody felt like was some of the worst ones. A couple of guys right at the riff brought up, the fire tornadoes being the thing that they hate the most, is just trying to maneuver around those and everything. And, myself and another diver, we had mentioned, yes, I agree, they definitely suck. Especially if you start feeling like you're getting boxed in and dealing with them. But you can use those to a decent advantage, I feel like. Another diver also agreed with me on that, where she had mentioned, our enemies don't seem like they know how to deal with those as much. They just kind of press forward and all that. And really, we've both seen bugs and squids and sometimes the bots. It seems like it's mostly the bug planets, though. But we've seen them just get burnt to a crisp. So it was like, yeah, no, the fire tornadoes aren't good. Another diver brought up the meteor storms. And it's like, yeah, not many other people agreed with that one, though, because it's pretty easy to tell when those are going to land. When those are going to hit and everything. Another diver brought forward the tremors that some of the planets have, as those earthquakes that can stun us Helldivers, and it also stuns our enemies, so it works both ways. It's not just us. But I brought forward to them, hey, tremors aren't good, but the second you feel that seismic activity, if you halt your progress, you actually are not affected by it nearly as much as if you would be in the middle of walking or running or anything else. So it's like, yeah, not ideal, but you can get around that pretty dang easily, to be honest. My first one, because they brought forward to me, was, okay, well, what do I feel like is one of the worst ones? For me personally, one of the first ones that came out to me was the blizzards on the ice planets. That reduction in our mobility, our ability to sprint and move around, it sucks. Like, it can freeze your joints, and even with, the blessed armor we get from Super Earth and Ministries and how they've created stuff, it still can just slow you down. But for me, the even worse part is the reduction of the visibility. It's difficult, and it especially seems like I have seen it more on the bot front than I have on any other front. Those blizzards, for some reason, just hit on those planets hard, and they hit quick. And they seem to last quite a bit of time. Most divers seem to kind of be like, yeah, no, they can see it. One of the divers, she had mentioned, yeah, but, the groups, she's like, the groups we've been with, we've always bunkered down and just kind of waited it out. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Not a bad idea. Definitely don't disagree with that. But how much time are you wasting then on planet and trying to get stuff done? They were like, okay, yeah, we can see that. We can see that. They had asked if I had any other ones that I felt was frustrating. And I remember when I was first starting out as a, fresh-eyed and simple diver, that the ion storms used to piss me off all the time. Not being able to call in stratagems and, not being able to call in for reinforcements and trying to deal with stuff on the planet. But as time has passed, those have been less of a headache for me because of just realizing, like, hey, you can still work around stuff, and getting better orientation with the compass has been a huge benefit. All of us agreed that the ion storms, while not fun, are also not the worst. They turn into a hindrance once you get a little bit used to them. Now, one of the last ones that I personally mentioned that I thought was the most frustrating, if not for me recently the most, only because it's been happening again and again and again on the desert planets, was the fucking sandstorms that we deal with. And everybody was in agreement on that one. All of us Helldivers. Everybody was like, yeah, the just absolute reduction of mobility that you deal with during that is terrible. But what was interesting is that we were all on the same page of the reduction of our visibility. You cannot see shit with these sandstorms. Enemies can't see it either. And against the bots, that's mostly okay because they will miss all of their shots. Against the bugs, however, it is kind of irrelevant because they get up in your face anyways. So it's like, fuck you, here's my claw and my bite. So that just sucks in my opinion. Finally, one other diver brought forward the acid storms that they've dealt with, and yeah, the visibility isn't really much of an impact on it. The armor reduction, yes and no. I've actually gave them some pointers of using it to your advantage because it affects our enemies too. So, but those are kind of the big ones that we talked about. There's, the intense heat and extreme cold, and the rainstorms, but none of that is super crazy. But yeah, and that was neat to have that topic. And if you want, hey, if you hear this journal, pass along your own information. I would greatly appreciate it. But good luck to you out there, and for Super Earth and managed democracy.